and a half hours, I was only requesting them to wake me up when there was food and red wine, and then I would conk back out.
I could understand that, and I'm with you on that. So you mentioned, like kind of late flights.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about lines. Talking about 16-hour flights. Have you ever and you mentioned being early.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to sleep in an airport, done some amazing race type shit?
Oh,
or
yes.
even, it's the holiday season. Have
Yes.
you ever had to do the Home Alone shit where you sprint through the airport?
For sure.
Almost lose your husband because he just passes you and leaves you back a mile.
Because he's huffing and puffing behind me.
I'm not here. There you go.
He's
yeah.
really huffing and puffing behind me.
Some of us like to smoke a little bit more than others. Some of us like to drink more than others. Some of us aren't made to run. I am not made to run. People would pass me in an airport.
I'm a runner. I love to
Yeah, you are a fit person.
The thing of it is, though, I try not to get to that point, but you never freaking know out of the country what you're going to get into. Traffic, taxis, language barriers. So it's always good to get there super, super early. Plus, the airports out of the U.S. are vastly different. For example, I was in Kathmandu, Nepal, and I was flying out. My flight was at 8 in the morning. I got there at probably 6 in the morning. The airport was not open yet. Airport was not open.
I know that feeling, but I had that issue in Boston. So, that's not that fucking wild.
But
let
me
kick
throw
you
this
out of the
wrench
fucking
at you.
terminal.
Did you ever have a monkey going into your backpack?
No, I have not had that.
Okay, well, that has happened to me in the airport. I'm not shitting you, Kip. A monkey unzipping my backpack because there were oranges in there.
Well, Carly, you live and you learn. I haven't come across a lot of countries where monkeys just run around rampantly, but that does remind me. So, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Is this one of the more foreign trips y'all have done? Have you mentioned language barriers?
Yeah.
Has that proven to be an issue in the past? Has that stumped you or
It's a
caused you to
great
miss a
question.
flight? Thank you. Another great question.
I think, something that we're really fortunate on is everybody pretty much speaks English in every country. It's their second.
Thus far.
Yeah,
Thus far.
Amen to that. I would say, backtracking a little bit, I've had to sleep in 2 airports, one in Bangkok and one in
That's what she said.
South Africa. I also had to sleep on an airport floor. And one was super, super, super cold, and it's so uncomfortable. And one of my biggest recommendations for any traveler is to bring a silk sheet. It's literally
Let's just call it a sheet.
Yeah, and it's
not necessarily. Not everyone's going to be whipping out silk in the fucking airport.
But it's a silk sheet, and it literally is like a mummy that would line a sleeping bag.
Okay,
and
gotcha. Not fine silk.
No, nothing like that. But it's a protective barrier between your body and whatever you're laying on, which has been one of the best things that I can recommend.
I know a lot of people that ask me to have a layer between me and when I'm laying on them. So that's not the first time I've heard someone tell me to wear. I've just never heard it called a silk before.
Well,
so that's news to me.
This is a very fun soft silk. They sell them at REI, so definitely check them out because
Seamless
they have
plug. Well done.
Amazing silk sheets. And you can ask anyone over there; they'll be able to point it out to you. They shouldn't be super expensive. Definitely under probably $50.
I was thinking lingerie style. So I was like, what the fuck she travel with? But
yeah.
I digress. I do apologize.
Yeah.
Continue on.
And then as far as language barrier, I did actually, I think.
So is it more so that people in the industries of tourism and travel and things of that nature, those are the ones that speak English?
For
Obviously
sure.
not everyone or
For sure.
a fair amount.
Yeah.
It's obviously... the trades that if you're in this trade, then you probably need to be able to speak English because
100%,
it's
100%.
pronounced.
And I think this destination trip in general is definitely not going to be the most third world. Let me put it that way. We've been
out of comfort zone.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we've been to parts of Africa where here's a kind of a funny story. I got stung by a bee because our tire went flat on the way to the airport, and the driver, barely spoke very good English, so that was kind of a problem for us. I got stung by a bee waiting for the guy to change the tire. He couldn't change the tire. Our flight was now an hour out, that they had to flag down a bus driver with locals on the bus to get us to the airport. And we raced and we made it there.
That's very amazing race-ish,
yes.
As well as a worst-case scenario. But like you said, we made it.
I mean,
that's pretty lucky.
I mean, I have to say the smaller airports are typically the easiest to deal with versus the bigger airports. But I still always like to give myself the time to, just...
Buffers.
Yes.
I have the same thing.
Yes.
And I actually think I got mine from, my father or something because he would, likes to travel early in the morning. Always wants to be very, very early.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm so glad that, because the last friend of mine that was dumb enough to stick around for a little while, she was like, "No, I'll just press my luck." And then our friend Richard Black, he loves to press the luck.
Oh my God, that would give me so much anxiety. I would need more Xanax just to get to the airport.
I need it just to go to work every day, much less.
That would freak me out.
I can't do the Home Alone thing.
No.
I would be the guy, and you kind of lose the premise of Home Alone as you get older, because who the fuck still has alarm clocks? But at the same time, I would have I just wouldn't even make it to the airport. I would just stroke out right. I'd be like, fuck it. This is it. This is the end. I'm not going to make this. It's time to reschedule. Give me a drink. I need to have my process.
For sure.
So that's pretty fucking wild. Hitching a local bus.
Oh, yeah.
And the language barrier was there.
Oh, it was so there. And there was no AC on this bus. We were in the middle of Tanzania trying to get to this airport. And the crazier part, too, is, you have to walk on the tarmacs to get on these airplanes. It's just, you need to have an open mind when you travel for different types of experiences. Because if you have the expectation that it's going to be like DIA... I mean, my worst airport, though, I have to say, in the world is probably LaGuardia, and that's in New York City. So if that gives you any... I mean, I've sat on the tarmac there for hours.
Yeah,
hours.
I can
and that's
believe
in the U.S. I mean, they just fucking suck there. They really do.
I can believe it. I'm with you on that, and I couldn't agree more. I'm not saying... I always thought, because I haven't gone in very many foreign airports, so it makes me want, I always trying to picture this in my head, and it's usually a fucking movie does it for me. But so I'm gonna have you kind of describe. We're gonna all live vicariously
for sure,
and that makes me want to come back to our normal topic, because I can sit here and talk about travel woes.
I know. We keep getting distracted.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's our show. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
And feel free to email us with any questions or Instagram, No Vacancy, any questions you have at all. We are so happy to help and answer them. That's kind of something we're passionate about.
Yep. She is going to be interactive via, I guess, internet, Wi-Fi and everything. Yeah. So you'll see all the stories. You'll see all the posts. She'll be able to answer in live time, assuming her buzz level. But at the same time, we're all in the same boat. We're going to be asking all sorts of questions for us. So maybe we can get her to call in to another episode. But anyway, again, so we go from Chile.
Yes.
How long are we in Chile?
So we are in Chile from...
Chile, sorry.
Yeah, get it right,
Redneck.
Kip. I think we actually get there on the 21st of December, and then... It's kind of weird because we're moving around. So we'll go Valparaiso, we'll go Santa Cruz, then we actually go to Santiago, and we spend 5 days there, including Christmas. So I think
Christmas in Santiago?
Yes.
We need to come up with some clever hashtags for these trips, because you're hitting so many GD cities and so many. I don't want to say it around the Christmas season. Yeah, you don't want to say GD during the Christmas season.
So not appropriate.
Yes, as you would know. I mean, Yep. What's it called? You just finished your holidays.
I did. I finished the Hanukkah season, so now I'm GD free.
So then you'll be in Santiago for Christmas. So Carly does Christmas and something clever like that.
Yes. So think of any sort of hashtags, any of y'all listeners that you think of.
Kind of need a good one.
Yeah.
We need something that has a nice alliteration.
Throw them out there.
Like CMac does essay.
Yes.
Something like, I feel like an alliteration really, it helps roll off the tongue.
Pop.
But we'll always, and something with no vacancy. Just give us all the, just go tag underneath Carly's new post on the Instagram page. Yeah. Go tag what you think the Instagram hashtag should be, and if you win, we'll give you $20 to Mockery Brewery in Rhino. How about that?
For sure. That's a great one.
There we go. So whoever wins, that's a great way to do a little engagement as well.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And this way we get some good tags there. We can get some good hashtags. I think that stuff's really important.
Some help from the audience.
Yeah, and I think at least for Christmas, the Hubs and I are going to do a little room service because they're very Catholic down there. And then we're going to go to maybe a midnight mass. We're going to have some...
Is the Hubs Catholic?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Texas kid, yeah?
He's a Texas boy. He's a Southern kid. And they seem to love going to church down there. So, there's nothing wrong with that. Nope, so I'm going to go and I'm going to check out these awesome Catholic cathedrals in Santiago.
I bet the architecture's going to be legit.
Oh, I'm so excited. And a lot of colonial influence there. So European influence. I'm really pumped to check that out. So that's kind of our Christmas plan. And then on December 28th, a couple of our friends from Houston actually are meeting us, and we are flying down to Patagonia, specifically Chilean Patagonia, and then we're going to spend 8 days down there between Chilean, so Torres del Paine, El Calafate on the Argentinian side, Los Glaciers National Park. We've got tons of cool excursions coming up down there, so I can't wait to just share with the listeners, as well as our Instagram folks, Pinterest. We're going to have tons of stuff tagging, what we're doing, the outfitters, the hotels. I'm really excited because the hubs and I decided to splurge a little after Patagonia and roughing it for a few days by crashing at the Four Seasons in Buenos Aires.
There we go. We'll tag them. Make sure we get in good with those folks.
Yes, we're going to need some free stays there. So hopefully we can make that go down. And
so where do we go from Chile? We still have, you leave there, the Patagonia area.
Yep.
I don't even know what day we're on now. So where do we spend New Year's? Where y'all partying for New Year's? Let's talk about let's get into the nitty gritty. Everyone loves the holidays, and we don't have to do day-to-days. What are we partying for the New Year's? Where are we going to be? What's the scene down?
So on New Year's, I think, if I have it correct, we will be in Torres del Paine, Chile, in Patagonia. And I'm hoping that we will have some really great red wine, steak dinner, sitting outside under the stars, that kind of thing.
What time zone are we working with here? Central or mountain? Whatever they call it.
Interesting you say that. I think they're actually 4 hours ahead of us there. So, actually...
Wait, 4 hours ahead of Colorado?
I take that back.
So it moves back that way?
It's actually 2 or 4 hours ahead of East Coast time.
All right. So anyway, we'll be celebrating about the same time.
Yeah.
We'll be celebrating about.
We might be a little bit ahead of you.
Okay, so
we
not
might
too.
Be a little ahead
yeah,
of
if I recall, either the Olympics or the World Cup was in Brazil, and they had a couple hours. I think it was the Olympics. They had a couple hours on us, but not too many.
I would say 3-4 hours ahead of us. Maybe.
All right, word. So not too bad. So you'll celebrate roughly around the East Coast time.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So red wine and steak is kind of what I like to do. I did that last year at Quality Italian.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to our friends down in Cherry Creek.
You
get a bottle of wine.
to make it over there.
They have it's based out of New York.
Yeah.
They have a chicken parmesan that's the size of a pizza, small 10 to 12 inch pizza.
I love it.
And it's fucking flat, and it comes down on a pizza dish, like a serving rock, like you'd see for a big green egg or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild, and it's really delicious. I mean, the place is great, but I went with steak and wine, so it feels like we're in the same boat. You know,
we're
just separated
from
by
a distance.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
So it sounds like you're pretty much in Denver, but in Chile instead.
Correct.
So where do we go from? That's a fucking awesome way to spend it. You win. You beat Quality Italian.
I think I'm pretty excited. We're gonna do a hike that day. I think in Torres del Paine, and then from there, I want to let y'all know we're doing a lot of active activities. We're gonna
let's talk a little wholesome shit. That's up your alley. By the way, congratulations on your yoga shit.
Yes!
You got your ID.
I'm so excited. I am now officially certificate completed in Yoga Sculpt TT. So I'm now a certified teacher.
Congratulations!
I'm so excited.
I like to call that stretching.
Yes, stretching mode,
just
right?
Classic,
just
classic.
with a little weight in the left arm, and really just
I couldn't agree more.
I like the roller too. The foam roller is the best thing ever created.
We're proud of you. Either way, No Vacancy is very proud of you, and we're happy for you. So let's talk a little of this wholesome for our friends and listeners out there that like to do wholesome stuff, such as yourself.
Yeah.
What do we have on the docket?
So
across the board, we don't have to talk about one country.
Let me just give you the lowdown.
Yeah.
So we're doing a ton of walking in every city. We're going to do a lot of museums, a lot of island hopping, things like that, wineries, and then of course when we get down to Patagonia, there's going to be a lot of fly fishing. There's going to be hiking, specifically Torres del Paine, the base there that you'll.
So what would that measure to? Is it like doing a 14er?
It's a little bit more strenuous. I would say it's probably a little less than a 14er just because the roads kind of go up a little ways, and then where the Jeep drops you, you can start trekking up. But they're almost called, I think it's called the towers, the Torres del Paine towers. And if you Google it and the images, it's wild. I can't wait to take photos.
I'll do it right
now. It's amazing. So we'll do the towers hike. We're doing some kayaking in Los Glaciers. So we'll be along the glacier kayaking, which is super, super cool. We're taking a boat ride as well there. There's going to be, I believe, some horseback riding. We just have tons of fun stuff. A lot of fly fishing, like I mentioned, hiking.
Oh, wow. This does look gorgeous.
Isn't it just the coolest? I mean, look at that.
Yeah, those look really neat. So y'all will have to. That is a nice hike.
Hike to the tower.
You'll be able to see that. You'll show these pictures on the Instagram, obviously.
Yes.
As well as when you get back, this is a fun announcement. We'll have the blog ready for you. So the website will have been renovated by the time she gets back. We'll have the shop up and running. We'll have the blog up